One of the things that I give the most credit to helping me grow my business to the 7-figure level, to building over $1 million in net worth, to hitting the goals that I want to hit is my ability to translate my big picture strategy for business and wealth creation into a tactical weekly and daily plan that has me constantly taking steps toward my goals. So in this week's video, I want to walk you through my weekly planning process. So hopefully you can add a few things into your weekly plan as a CEO of your business that help you also hit your goals too. I do want to give a quick backstory about how I learned this planning process because it's probably not where you think. I didn't learn this through running my business. I actually learned this in my first job that I had out of college. So I graduated college in the height of the Great Recession. Jobs were really hard to come by, and I ended up taking my business degree and working with Teach for America, and I taught high school math for 2 years in Henderson, North Carolina. One of the things that they really focused on in Teach for America in our training process was teaching us how to plan. So we took, for our students thinking about the class that we were going to be teaching, we took the learning standards that we had for each of those classes and what was going to be, tested on the exams, the things that they needed to learn. We took that end goal and we backed into, monthly, weekly, and daily lesson plans that would have our students taking steps from where they were sitting when they came into our classroom to finishing the class, hitting all of the learning standards they needed to hit. And I find it really interesting that this isn't something that I even learned in business school. And I have to give it a lot of credit because shifting my way of thinking about how to plan from taking this big picture, this goal that almost feels unachievable, into daily actions is honestly the thing that I have done in my business that has helped me move forward as quickly as I have. So on a weekly basis, as I plan for my business, I typically do this on Sundays just because that's when I like to have quiet time. No clients are emailing me. I have no team members pinging me on Slack. I just have some nice quiet time. I get my coffee, I sit down with my planner, and I do this process. You might do it on Friday afternoon or Monday morning. I just like to do it sometime between the end of my last week and the beginning of my next week. But there are 4 things that I'm always updating during this planning process that at this point probably takes me like 30 minutes or so. Those 4 things are my scorecard, my cash forecast, my priorities for the week, and my time blocking for the upcoming week. So the first thing I look at is my scorecard. My scorecard is just a really simple Google sheet where on a weekly basis, I am tracking certain metrics that I know in my business lead to results. And so this is elements of my marketing funnel, how much reach I had during the week, how many posts, how many emails, how many followers I have on different platforms, the engagement rates that I had. I also track things like how many podcasts did I pitch? How many applications did I get? How many sales did I make? How much revenue did I generate? I've got all of those metrics mapped out in a Google Sheet, and I update that on a weekly basis for the prior week. The point of the scorecard is for me to look at the data in my business and see what's working. Did I do all the things, or did my team do all the things that needed to happen last week? Where are the gaps? Where are there areas that I need to make sure we're prioritized? What's working and what's not? This just helps me boil my business down into data points that I know your business isn't all about data, but honestly, having those metrics in front of you and seeing the trends over time is really, really helpful for you to see what's working and what's not. The second thing that I update is my cash forecast. So I keep another spreadsheet, which is about a 60-day cash forecast where I'm looking at all of the projected inflows from sales that we have under contract to outstanding invoices, and then all of our outflows. So we're looking at expenses, payroll, my distributions, our credit card payment, all those things put together into one spreadsheet, which is something that is included in the High Profit Society, by the way. The point of looking at the cash forecast is for me to look ahead in my business to be able to spot if there's going to be any gaps in cash flow, if I'm going to run out of money at any certain point, if I need to go out and make sales. I do this about 60 up to 90 days in advance so that I have a good longer, not long-term, but medium-term view of my business so that I know ahead of time, hey, I need to go rustle up some new contracts. I need to make sure these clients renew. This helps me prioritize some of the things that I need in my business. Which is the third step is prioritization. And so the next thing that I do in my weekly plan is I figure out for the upcoming week, what are the top 3 must-do things that are the most crucial needle-moving tasks that I need to prioritize above everything else. To come up with those priorities, what I do is I review my goals. I review my big picture quarterly goals that I set. I also review last week's priorities and I ask myself between the priorities and the scorecard, what things worked well, what things didn't work, why did I meet my goals, why did I not meet my goals, and what things can I change moving forward. As part of this process, I also look at a few of my own personal health metrics because those very closely correlate to my ability to show up and have good energy and do all the things I need to do in my business. So I use my Aura Ring and I actually write this down in my planner, my sleep stats, my stress stats, and then I also use my Apple Watch to track my, calories burned and steps goal to see if I'm moving throughout the week. From all of that information, really what I'm looking for is what are the next things that I can prioritize in the upcoming week that will get me a step closer to my goals? Now, I've done videos and podcast episodes in the past about how I really believe in the power of consistent habits and making small steps over time. And this is where that comes from. So instead of sitting here thinking about the endless to-do list of all the things I want to do in my business, I'm going through this objectively, just trying to figure out what are the top 3 things that if I were to accomplish those things this week, my business would be improved, my health would be improved, my happiness and my family would be improved, and I would be making progress toward my goals. Now, the last thing I do is I do time block out my week. I will say I give myself a good bit of leeway with time blocking because I know things always come up, especially as a mom, especially with running 2 separate businesses, with all the clients that we have, like things just pop up that are unavoidable sometimes. So as I'm time blocking, I really try to leave as much space in my calendar as I can. What I'm going to do when I'm time blocking is I will pull up my calendar for the week. I write this down in my planner because I'm a pen and paper kind of girl, but you do you. I will map out on each of the days, make sure I know what meetings do I have. I'll look at what open spaces I can leave on my calendar for, flexible time. If something comes up and I need to slide something into that open space, I leave that open. And then I will slot in what are the top 2 to 3 daily priorities that I have for Monday through Friday that will align with the big 3 things I said I needed to do for my week. So in a nutshell, that is my weekly planning process. I feel like saying it out loud, it sounds like a lot, but honestly, I have gotten this down into about a 30-minute routine, and it is probably the best time that I spend for my business and myself out of my entire week because it gives me so much clarity with what I'm going to do when I show up that day. I don't ever get to my office and wonder, what do I need to focus on today? It gives me so much more clarity having a plan for the week and knowing that I know exactly how I'm going to make progress. You have to come up with a planning process and a way of running your days and weeks that really works for you. And so this can take trial and error. My process may not work exactly, as well for you, and that's fine, as long as you come up with something that works for you. So in the comments, I would really love to hear if you have any other things that you love to do on a weekly basis. Do you have questions about the way that I run my week? Is there anything in particular that you would love for me to dive more into? Let me know in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this video, y'all. I'll see you back here next time.